All right, hi everyone, this is Kevin Tharp, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do a case study into the video that I created that is called Continue. Continue is a video that was created as the first episode of the Moments of Peace series that I am creating. The impetus for me to create these series, other than interested in having the kind of thing, is that I'm preparing a gallery show and I'm creating the content for that. Now, the focus of the gallery show is to go in conjunction with other community-based mindfulness, meditation, relaxation kind of events that are going on to give people another way of finding how to sort of gain a little peace back into their lives. And so that was the impetus for doing this. And what I wanted to do specifically is do a breathing based video that would establish the process of slow, intentional, deep breathing as a base for allowing the user to start letting go of some of the thoughts that they're in their head, just to kind of slow everything down, calm everything down, escape from the day-to-day worries and just focus on the here and now. And so that's the purpose of this video. The way that I did that is that I use, I'm going to start by talking about the images and audio that I have here, because this case study is tied to the use of objects, imported objects within my class. So the way that I got the video that you see in the background there, the lasers, and there was also a video that looked kind of like this. I replaced it with an image because that video has gone missing. But what I use is I live in Wisconsin and I've got a hot tub in the backyard and outdoors. And what I do is on certain types of nights, I'll bring out one of those Christmas laser lights that shoots up into the trees and drives the neighbors nuts. But what it does is it gives me the ability to capture video of these dots that are sort of moving around in the environment to use as a prop for this type of video. The other thing it does is it gives me the ability to see video or to create video that shows those lasers that is interesting to watch, but it doesn't grab your thoughts or your eyes. It just kind of washes over you. Very relaxing thing to do in the hot tub, and I thought, oh, let's use that for a basis of a video. And so the way that this works, and what I'm doing is I'm going to use the Camera Pass tools here to show you how I edited this. I already sort of gave you an idea of where the videos came from. The other things in this sketch are there's images, there's videos, there's objects, and there are elements that I painted right into the scene using OpenBrush. This is, by the way, filmed using OpenBrush, and the camera pass tool is the key tool for me to do this. So let's dig into this video and see what we got going on here. So what we start with is a shot that is looking at black. So we start with a shot that is black. You can see my hand showing up in there. But so what we do is we start with an establishing shot that is black. And what I wanted to do is I always sign my videos when I do them so that people know that it's my work. And what I wanted to do is start with black, and I wanted to introduce my logo quickly in there. And this video is designed for a single take shot that goes through the whole thing. And so what that did is it allowed me to zero in on this image of my logo, and then as it faded down, it establishes this visual from the lasers, and it slides down into there. So that's the introduction. Now, as the introduction is going on, I use 4 different soundtracks in this, and I fade between them. And what you see here is as it's making its way down, um, I'm trying to establish the deep breathing base for this. So I have inhale, exhale. And what I do is I use the combination, you'll see zoom in, zoom out. Uh, so as the camera is moving, it's zooming in and out to simulate visually the act of inhaling and exhaling to get the person into uh, the the scene, inhaling and exhaling, and then it comes to this continue. So rather than have the inhale exhale through the entire video, I chose to use this continue so that we could move on, but it gives the idea that you're supposed to continue with this breathing. So as this makes its way through, you'll notice that the inhaling and exhaling is continued visually, although very subtly, with the zooming in and out of the camera through this stage here. So this really is establishing the process of setting up the breathing. And now when we come into here, we start introducing the elements that were created using some of the strokes in OpenBrush. So everything up to this point that has been used has been an imported object, whether video object or image. But now we start using some of the strokes that are available inside of OpenBrush to, it becomes a guide at this point. So it starts this process of having you see something that's a little bit different, a little bit unfamiliar, interesting, and what it does is it becomes a path to a transition to the next stage of this. So this has been a relatively long period when you've been here, and what you'll notice here is that as the camera comes to the point where it's going through this video, you'll notice that it suddenly walks right through that. So let me share that again. So we're focused on these little squigglies, but then they come through this image, and this image would have been a video. So there would have been all these lights just doing a gentle dance through the trees. You'd have no idea what that was if I hadn't told you, but that becomes time to remind the user that we are focused on our breathing here, because it's easy to forget that. And so I tell them once again to inhale, exhale, and the theme of the film is continue. And so at this point, I start another audio transition. So I'm switching between one style of music and another. And at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm creating an establishing shot that shows the user what they're going to be exploring in this next section. And in this next section, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be going down the front of this element, the artistic element here of all the brush strokes. You're going to slide your way down into that, and again the blue dots showing you which way you're going to be going, and then you go down in there, and as you proceed towards the bottom, you'll notice that the camera tilts up, and then as you get to the bottom here, it starts to do a rotation, and both on the X and the Y, and realistically on the Z axis. And what that does is it transitions you from sort of looking at this item from a distance to coming to a place where you're going to be able to glide through this. Let it wash over you as you make your way through this series of spirals that will bring you up into, through, and then eventually it will bring you out at the top. Now there's a lot of things to see inside of there. There's another prompt in there that tells you to breathe, and then you'll eventually come up make your way up through here, and you'll come to the top of the video, or at the top of the element, and what you'll see is that the camera starts to transition from making its way through this to it's going very slow right now, because again it's trying to allow you to move towards a trance-like state as you're making your way through this. And then at this point, we come to another transition. And that transition is marked by a change in zoom that you're about to experience and a change in speed that you're about to experience. And that becomes the transition to the next area. So as it's going through this transition, and you'll see that it's sped up there, I transition again, fade from one audio source to the next. And I'm doing that manually in the background as this is recording. And then that brings you out to this wide shot that again shows what you've just kind of gone through and what's coming up. So you can see in this shot, there's a teaser coming about the inhale, exhale, continue. It's showing some of the things that you've been through in the background. So it's sort of giving you a slight mental break to have a look around at where you've been, and then it brings you back into this idea of inhale, exhale, continue, using the images which were imported, and again using the camera path to bring you through this. Now this is, at this point, you're sort of in the depth of the video. So everything is moving pretty slow because we're working with that slowed down brain function at this point, as you're allowing your brain to relax from all that thinking. And then what it does is it brings you in. We start to focus on a little bit closer detail of, I'm going to call it a flower. And so we come in, we will actually, take a look in there. And right now I don't have the audio responder on, but these strokes would be responding to the soundtrack. And it establishes, a real interesting visual, more interesting than it is here, with more motion, more movement, just things to sort of catch your brain. And so as it makes its way around, this is sort of the third major stage of this. You're at this point pretty deep into this process of releasing thoughts. And then as we come out of that, what we're doing is preparing for the final stage, which is the lead up to the departure from the video. And so it gives you another look at a little more distance. And what it's doing here, we would be transitioning to audio at this point as well, fading from one of the audio tracks to the next. Again, gives you a shot where you can see the things that you've been doing. And you'll notice that in here, we come back to the camera is going to go through the continue. You see that show up on the screen, and then it just becomes the equivalent of a slow dissolve and departure from the scene as the camera rotates, grabs a hold of the last sort of visual element, which is this path of green lights that they lead off into the distance, and in this case it leads off into a fade back to black, which returns you to the starting point, which is the black screen, and it concludes the video with a screen of black. And that is the case study of the video I created called Continue, which is the first episode of the Moments of Peace video series. And my name is Kevin Tharp. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this, to see how I do my art and the process that's involved there. and to maybe hopefully inspire you to try some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before. That's all I've got. Thank you very much. Bye bye.